So the screen is visible. Hello. Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Yes, sir.
Screen is visible. Screen is visible. You are able to see the screen.
Yes,
Slides.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So let us proceed. So coal mine explosion, we have discussed uh, different type of explosions like fire damp explosion, coal dust explosion. Both fire damp and coal dust explosion we have discussed the different factors. Also we have discussed to which causes the explosion, and the uh, sources of ignition also we have discussed like flame, heat surface, sparks, explosives. So this mine explosion, the mechanism we have discussed, and the limits of flammability limit and explosive limit we have also discussed, and ignition point or ignition temperature also we have discussed. Then this ignition lag or induction time also we have discussed, the which depends on temperature, pressure, and gas concentration. And today we are going to do this also. Today we are going to discuss about the explosion characteristics. What are the properties you found in explosion? Whenever there is an explosion, what are the properties or what are the characteristics you come across with an explosion? So first is the flame temperature. So whenever there will be explosion, whenever there would be explosion, so fire will be there, flame will be there, and temperature, heat will be there. Flame temperature. So the flame temperature, what does it mean? This is the first characteristic of an explosion, flame temperature. The flame temperature of a flammable fire damp air mixture is the temperature which occurs just at the moment of its explosion. Whenever there is an explosion, immediately you will get flame temperature, which depends on the concentration of methane, how much methane is present in the air, what is the uniformity of the mixture, presence of other gases along with methane, what is the turbulence, how turbulent the methane gas is in the atmosphere, what is its confinement, where it is located, and what are the different heat losses. So these are the characteristics of a flame temperature in an explosion. It is maximum at a stoichiometric concentration, that is your 9.5% methane content, and is less at the lower and upper flammable limits. We have discussed that there are two limits of explosibility limits are there. One is lower limit, the other one is the upper limit. So lower limit is 5, the upper limit is 15. So the adiabatic flame temperature for a stoichiometric concentration of methane air mixture is 2200 Kelvin. That is the adiabatic flame temperature of methane gas explosion. So uh, the first one is the temperature. These are the characteristics of the explosion. So second characteristic is your explosion pressure. First is temperature, explosion temperature. Second, flame temperature. Then second is your explosion pressure. Explosion pressure. So the explosion pressure depends on flame temperature and confinement, where the where the methane is present in a room, in a gallery, that is the confinement. And the maximum explosion pressure of methane air mixture is 760 milligram per milligram at 20 degrees centigrade when ignited in a closed vessel is given as 7.2 bar. The maximum explosion pressure is 7.2 bar at a atmosphere pressure of 760 millimeter and a temperature of 20 degrees centigrade. If this condition is there, then the maximum explosion pressure of methane air mixture will be 7.2 bar. So the flame, then third characteristics of the explosion is methane explosion is the length of flame, length of flame, which increases as the gas concentration increases. In a gas zone, uh, gas concentration in a gas zone increases from lower limit of flammability to about 12%, after which it decreases. That is the flame length. What is the length of the flame? Then fourth characteristic of methane explosion is velocity of propagation of flame or flame velocity. How fast the flame is moving from one place to other place. That is velocity of propagation of the flame. The velocity of propagation of a fire damp explosion flame is very small. Velocity is very small. It depends on the following factors like methane content of the mine air, condition of the gas mixture, whether at rest or in motion in turbulence, the point of ignition, at what point the ignition started, the location of the point of ignition within the body of gas mixture markedly affects the velocity of propagation. If ignition takes place at the closed end of a roadway filled with a gas mixture, the speed of propagation and severity of explosion are greater than when ignition takes place at the outby end of the roadway. So velocity of propagation is also dependent on length of gas zone, presence of obstacles in the path, or or change in area of roadway section. If a roadway in which an explosion has occurred have obstacles which decrease its area of cross section, the velocity of propagation of explosion rises to a few hundred meters per second. Uh, uh, we have seen that the fire damp explosion are characterized by two distinct operations are there. We have a little bit of a discussion in the last class. What is a direct blast? What is a back blast? Direct blast, the these are the two characteristics of a fire damp explosion. One is called direct blast, the other one is called back blast. So the direct blast, in the direct blast, a pressure wave of great force and speed travels ahead of explosion flame. In the case of direct blast, a pressure wave of great force and speed travels ahead of the explosion flame. In the case of indirect blast or backlash, the backlash is caused by the vacuum arising out of cooling of explosion gases. The explosion gases like methane, other gases which exploded, if there is a cooling, condensation of water vapors and is of less intensity than the direct blast, but traverses the same path backwards. It, in the case of a backlash, it travels in the backward direction. That is why it is called your backlash or indirect blast. So when the concentration of methane is greater than 9.5%, we have seen that the 9.5% concentration of methane is called the optimum concentration. This is the stoichiometric concentration where explosion is very violent. So if the methane concentration is greater than 9.5%, two types of explosion flames occur. There are two types of explosion flames occur. One is called your primary flames and there is secondary flames. So whenever methane concentration is more than 9.5%, two types of explosion flames occur. One is called your primary flames. The second one is called your secondary flames. So what is primary flames? The primary flame propagates at a greater velocity and consumes the entire available oxygen. So in the case of the primary flames, the primary flame propagates at a greater velocity of propagation is very high, and it consumes whatever oxygen is available in the atmosphere. But in the case of the secondary flames, the secondary flame is produced later by the burning of the unburnt gas with the help of oxygen supplied by the backlash. So backlash, we have seen that it is a backward movement or propagation. So the secondary flame burns whenever there is backlash or backward movement of the flame. So it propagates slowly in the direction opposite to that of the primary flame. So the primary flame moves in the forward direction, whereas the secondary flame moves in the backward direction. This is the difference between primary flame and the secondary flame. So whenever there are explosion are there, whenever there is explosion, you get huge amount of gases, explosion gases. Different type of gases are formed whenever there is an explosion, because we have seen that whenever methane CH4 comes in contact with the oxygen O2 and nitrogen, so the end product is huge amount of other type of gases, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and other nitrous fumes, other type of gases are generated whenever there is an explosion. So the explosion gases are of various types, like the chemical composition of the products of a fire damp explosion depends greatly upon whether it is a pure fire damp explosion or a mixed explosion of fire damp or coal dust. So the explosion gases which are released, which are produced because of the explosion, is dependent on whether it is only a fire damp explosion or it is a combination of fire damp fire damp explosion and coal dust explosion. So with a pure explosion of, with a pure gas explosion, if methane gas explosion is there, if methane gas explosion is there, so you will get carbon dioxide is always formed or produced. Carbon dioxide is produced, carbon monoxide is produced. Frequently you found carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide if the methane gas is going to explode. A certain amount of oxygen is also found in the explosion gases due to fresh air supplied by the backlash. So whenever there is methane explosion, carbon dioxide is present, carbon monoxide will be there, and certain amount of oxygen will be also there in the composition of the explosion gases. So how to estimation of hazard due to methane in the mines? How to estimate how much hazard is there? What is the uh, hazard? What is the volume of hazard uh, present in a mine due to methane in the mines? So how to estimate hazard due to methane in the mines? So the hazard posed by fire damp to mine safety may be estimated by how you can estimate the hazard. It is estimated by three methods: determining the gas emission indices. uh, Gas emission index is to be calculated, uh, or rates in return air currents, cubic meter methane per ton of ROM, run of mines. ROM means your run of mines or sellable output of coal from the mine. How much coal you are producing from the mine? How much coal you are producing from the mine? That is the sellable output of coal, or ROM. ROM means run of mine. Run of mine means not only the coal is present, the gangue particles are also there, waste particles are also there along with coal. That is called ROM. ROM, run of mines, means the coal along with gangue, along with the waste materials combined together is called your ROM, run of mine, whatever you are producing from the mine. And sellable output means the so the coal is to be separated out from the gangue particles. Coal is to be separated out from the waste materials, and you get only coal, and which can be sold in the market. That is called your sellable output, is not it? So there are two type of outputs from a mine. Suppose it is a coal mine. How much coal you are producing from the mine per day, per month, per year? How much coal you are producing? So whatever coal you are producing from the mine, that is called your run of mine coal. Run of mine coal, ROM. Then from the ROM, the coal is separated out from the gangue particles, from the waste material. Because coal along with some waste materials are there, so coal is to be separated out. So after coal is separated out, that is called your sellable output, which can be sold in the market. So people who will purchase the coal from you, they will not purchase the waste materials along with the coal. They want pure coal. So that is called your sellable output from a mine. So the hazard potential of a coal mine is estimated by determining the gas emission index. What is gas emission index? It is cubic meter of methane produced per ton of coal, per ton of coal in a coal mine. Cubic meter of methane produced per ton of coal. Suppose you are uh, producing 100 ton of coal. Suppose you are producing 100 ton of coal from a mine per day. So in a day, how much methane is emitted to the atmosphere in cubic meter? That is called cubic meter methane volume. Cubic meter of methane produced, emitted to the atmosphere per ton of coal in a coal mine. That is called your gas emission index. How to calculate the gas emission index? That we'll study in the next slide. Then second method of determining estimation of the hazard due to methane in the mines is determining the concentration of methane at the working phases. So working phase means where drilling, blasting, loading, coal cutting machine is operated. That is the working phase. Where you are getting the coal, that is the working phase. So how much, what is the concentration of methane at the working phases, that you can also determine or obtain by the help of a methanometer by um, measuring the quantity of methane present at the working phases. Third method is the number, the type and size of fire damp accumulation. The number, type and size of fire damp accumulation in the mine. In which area, how much methane gas is accumulated. That is the third method. First method, second method, third method. Then the gas emission index. How to calculate the gas emission index or emission rate is determined by using the following formula. There is a formula. There is a formula is there by the help of which you can calculate the gas emission index. So QCH4, QCH4 is equal to C into 14.4 into Q air divided by 100 into oxygen O plus K, which is equal to C into 60 into 24 into Q air divided by O uh, divided by OK. So actually this is so this 60 and 24, if you multiply, it is coming 14.4, 14.4, and divided by 100. Oh, sorry. Uh, so this uh, divided by 100 means 60 into 24 divided by 100 is 14.4. So there is a little wrong in the formula. I'll tell you in the next. So where C is the methane content in return air current, where C is methane content in return air current in volume percentage. Q air, return air quantity. Return Q air is the return air quantity, cubic meter per minute, and O is the mine or sellable output, tons per day. K is a factor given by the ratio. The K is determined from this ratio, maximum concentration of methane on any day in a week divided by average concentration of methane in the week. So this is the ratio which is called your K. K is a factor given by this ratio, maximum concentration of methane on any day in a week divided by average concentration of methane in the week. So if this K, it varies from 1 and 2, the value of K it varies from 1 to 2 depending upon the degree of mechanization, how the mine is mined. What is the degree of mechanization? You know what is degree of mechanization? Depending upon the machines used inside the mine, the mines are categorized into manual mining, semi-mechanized mining, mechanized mining, highly mechanized mining. Okay, so mechanization means they are categorized into 4 classes. One is called manual mining. Second one is called your semi-mechanized mining. Third one is called mechanized mining. Fourth one is called highly mechanized mining. So in the case of a manual mining, only the labor force is used to get the coal from the mine. In the case of a semi-mechanized mining, drilling is done by a drill machine, then blasting, loading is done by some machine. So that is why, in the case of a semi-mechanized mine, drilling is done by drilling machine, blasting is done by explosives, loading is done by local people or laborers. So that is why it is a semi-mechanized mining. But in the case of a mechanized mining, drilling is by drill machine, blasting is by explosives, loading is by loading machines, then transportation is by mine cars or mine tops. But in the case of a highly mechanized mining, you use the continuous uh, miners. Continuous miners are used where the coal is produced continuously by the help of a continuous miner, M-I-N-E-R, miner. And after the mining is done, the coal is transported by the help of a continuously operated belt conveyor system. So that is called a highly mechanized mine. So remember, there are 4 types of mines are there. One is called your manual mining. Second one is called semi-mechanized mining. Third one is called mechanized mining. Fourth one is called your highly mechanized mining. You must have read all these things in your underground mining methods. So depending upon the degree of mechanization, the K value uh, uh, lies between 1 and 2. So for mechanized cases, K lies between 1.5 to 2. If it is a mechanized mining, then the value of K is 1.5 to 2. Okay. Let us solve one problem. Problem number 1. Let us solve a small problem. How to calculate the uh, emission index. Calculate the methane gas emission index for a mechanized coal mine test for the following conditions of working. Problem number 1. C is given 8%, Q air is given 10 cubic meter per minute, O is given 100 tons per day output. and K is 1.5. It is a mechanized mining. Based on results found, state the degree of gassiness of the mine. So this gas emission index, methane gas emission index, this methane gas emission index, whatever value you are going to get, it will tell about the degree of gassiness of the mine, whether it is a gassy 1 mine, gassy 2 mine, or gassy 3 mine. Depending upon this gas emission index, you can categorize the mines into different gassiness. So the problem is given, then solution. Solution to problem number 1, QCH4 is equal to C into 14.4 into QAR divided by QR divided by 100 into O plus K. So after putting the value, you get 7.68. You get 7.68. So the value, the index is 7.68. So it is gassy 2 mine. Since the value, the index, emission index, methane emission index is 7.68. Therefore, it is gassy 2 mine. Since the gas emission index lies between 1 to 10, which is evident from the table given in the next slide. So this is the table. So if the gas emission index, is less than 1, if it is less than 1, it is called degree of gas, first degree of gassy 1 mine. And if the index lies between 1 to 10, if the gas emission index is from 1 to 10, it is called gassy 2 mine. It is called gassy 2 mine. If the gas emission is more than 10, if the emission index is more than 10, it is called a gassy 3 mine. So what is this emission index? It is cubic meter of methane produced per ton of coal mine. So that is called your gas emission index. So if the emission index is less than 1, it is called gassy 1 mine. If it is 1 to 10, it is called gassy 2 mine. If the emission level is more than 10, it is called gassy 3 mine. Okay. So a fire damp accumulation in a mine working is said to take place when the percentage of fire damp in the general body of the air current flowing in the mine working is more than prescribed by the coal mining regulation. So I have told you that there is a coal mines regulation formulated by Director General Mine Safety, DGMS. DGMS has formulated or given a guideline which is called your coal mines regulation. So as per coal mines regulation, if the percentage of methane in a coal mine is 1.25%, a fire dam accumulation in a mine working set to take place when the percentage of fire damp in the general body of air current flowing in the mine working is more than that. If it is more than 1.25% of methane present in the mine air, so there is uh, chances of accumulation of methane gas in your mine. So you should be very careful. That is why you always measure how much methane is there in the mine air. So from that measurement, you will come to know whether there is fire damp accumulation in the mine or not. So as per the coal mines regulation, it should be less than 1.25%. Methane percentage in the mine air should be less than 1.25% in the general air current. But if it is more than 1.25%, then you should be very careful. Otherwise, there will be chances of fire damp accumulation and chances of fire damp explosion in your mines. So why this fire damp explosion takes place? What are the causes of fire damp explosion? The various causes of fire damp explosion in the mines may be grouped under the following headings. These are the following causes of fire damp explosion. The first cause is negligence of the miners. The miners, the people who are going down the mine, the miners who are mining the coal. So if they are if there is negligence in them, then fire damp explosion may take place. Use of damaged safety lamps and in their improper handling. So you know that there is a safety lamp is there. So the miners, they take safety lamp inside the mine to measure, to know the presence of methane gas in the mine. So uh, in our department also there is a a solid fuel technology laboratory is there. You can find out the safety lamps are there, safety lamps. So these lamps, if you take, if you carry to the underground mines, so if there is methane, so the you will get a flame. You will get a flame in the safety lamp. So if the people who are using the safety lamp, they are not conversant about its use or handling, then there may be some error in the measurement and there will be fire damp explosion. Then third cause of fire damp explosion is blasting. You know that whenever there is blasting, so you may get a spark also. If that spark comes in contact with methane air mixture, so explosion is going to take place. If there is mine fire because of the spontaneous heating or because of any other reason, if there is mine fire, so explosion also can take place. Fire will ignite the fire damp and oxygen mixture and explosion may take place. And I have told that if there is a friction between two parts, so frictional energy will also generate heat uh, and that may also cause the fire damp explosion. If there is electric sparks are there, if you are using the electrical machines, there will be sparks and the spark can cause the fire damp explosion. And there are other special causes are also there. So what is negligence of miners? So the miners should not take any smoking materials uh, for making fire inside the mine. They should not take any matchbox or opening of the fire safety lamps on the part of the miners had in the past resulted in fire and ignition. So they should not open the fire safety lamp inside the mine. Then use of damaged safety lamps and their improper handling. So if a safety lamp is damaged, that should not be used inside the mine. Uh, a safety lamp is safe only when its various parts are clean, in good condition. All parts are properly assembled and improperly handled. So then third is your blasting. Blasting in coal and roadhead reapings represented a dangerous source of ignition of fire damp in the past. Similarly, fourth one is mine fire. Mine fires can easily bring about a flammable fire damp mixture in contact with them. So then friction, we are told that friction between metal and metal, friction between metal and rock, friction between rock and rock. So if there is a friction, fire will be generated and that fire will cause the explosion to take place uh, inside your underground mine. Then we have seen that electrical sparks may be produced from switch gears, damaged cables, signaling apparatus, and faulty electrical equipment. So these electrical sparks also will cause the explosion to take place in the mines. And there are other special causes like electrostatic charges. Then how to prevent the fire damp explosion? How to prevent fire damp explosion? The various measures which are taken to uh, uh, safeguard or to prevent the fire damp explosion hazard in the mines can be divided into the following three groups. First is measures against accumulation of dangerous fire damp mixtures in mine working from the beginning. You should not allow accumulation of methane gas inside your mine. Second, maintain proper ventilation system. Proper ventilation standard should be there so that the accumulation of methane gas will not be there inside your mine. Not allowing fresh air or oxygen to enter to the gobed out areas. So you know that if methane is there and if you allow the oxygen to come in contact with methane at a appropriate mixture, the material will become explosive in nature and explosion will take place. So that's why these are the preventive measures you have to take. So these preventive measures, the most effective method of preventing fire damp explosion in mines is by providing adequate ventilation. We have discussed a lot about ventilation, which will dilute the fire damp besides other harmful gases to well below the limits that may be prescribed for different mine working and carry it away to the surface. So by the help of ventilation, the gases will be evacuated from the mine. Frequent sampling of uh, uh, mine are for methane at several points in the mine. Therefore, an important measure prevention of fire damp explosion. Then these are the following important points you should keep in your mind. Uh, Mine should be mechanically ventilated by the help of a ventilating fan, mechanical ventilators, exhaust ventilation system. The mine equivalent orifice should be as large as possible, more than 2 meters square. Mine orifice, equivalent orifice. The ventilation of mine workings greater than 3 meters in length should not be done by diffusion alone. The ventilation of development headings should be done by utilizing the mine ventilating pressure as far as practical. Ventilation doors should be correctly located and kept closed except when main equipment and trains are passing through them. The mine ventilation system should be planned so that simple, effective, reliable ventilation of all workings is assumed. Seam should be extracted as a rule from top downwards to decrease the methane levels in the lower seam. The method of extraction should be selected so that it guarantees an easy and safe ventilation of the faces by air dilution with adequate velocities at the face and at the waste edge. A high standard of unit ventilation by separate ventilation splits should be maintained in district channels labeled to outburst, outburst. Air currents and methane emission should be checked. Systematic measurement of air quantities should be done in the mines. Then, uh, uh, for judging the possibility of for judging the for judging the possibility of formation of methane layering, the Mead-Dendorf formula can be used to calculate the methane layering index. You can calculate methane, how much methane layering is there inside the mine by the formula given by Mead-Dendorf methane layering index, which is equal to cube root of, which is equal to S index is equal to cube root of 24 v square divided by c root over f, where v is the mean velocity, c is the mean methane content of air current, a is the area of cross section of the airway at the measuring station. If S index is, if your methane layering index is less than 2, so there is possible danger of methane. If S index is greater than 2, there is no danger of methane layering. So problem number 2 you can practice, that is using the Mead-Dendorf formula, calculate the methane layering index for the following conditions of working. Mention whether there is danger of methane layering in the mine or not. V is given as 5 meter per second, C is 55, C is uh, C is C is 5 uh, and F is 16. So this problem I'll make correction. This C is not 55, it is 5 perhaps. I'll correct it. Then your index is calculated as 3.2. So after putting the values, you get 3.2. So since index is more than 2, there is no danger of methane layering. Since the index is more than 2, there is no danger of methane layering. So these are the precautionary measures to be taken against ignition of flammable methane mixture. All persons should be provided from carrying smoking articles. Special attention should be paid to ventilation, gas testing, precautions against cold dust. Only certified, flame-proof, and intrinsically safe apparatus should be used in the coal mine. Production of excessive frictional heat with conveyors, brakes, and bearings should be avoided by good installation and proper maintenance. So these are the precautions you have to take to uh, eradicate methane ignition or accumulation inside your mine. Okay. So why we are studying this explosion? Yesterday, in your WhatsApp group, I have sent you a movie that is Kala Pathar. Whenever you get time, you can see Kala Pathar. So that is about inundation, not about methane explosion. I will also find out methane explosion problem in the mines, because why you are studying this explosion, because these are the reasons. In different coal mines, in different years, many people made fatal accident, died inside the mine. Because of that reason, we are studying this explosion disaster in Indian coal mines. So these are the scenario after nationalization in 1973, 1975. In, this is the reason why we are interested for studying this subject, mine hazards. Hello, hello, hello,
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
today's class is over. Today's class is over. I'll send this presentation. I'll send this presentation after making correction. I have given two problems are there. So there is a little bit of mistake is there in the problem. So I'll correct it and upload in your Microsoft team. You can practice these problems for your examination. Okay, and this subject is very interesting in the sense that you should know, as a mining engineer, you should know the different hazards present inside the mine. So we are discussing about the explosion, methane gas explosion, coal dust explosion, and inundation, flooding of the mines. So these are the major hazards associated with mining. So gradually we'll study many more topics on this subject, and I will also provide you all the study materials so that you can study and understand the subject. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Tomorrow,
sir.
sir.
tomorrow 1:15 will meet. Thank you.